Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to today's maths lesson. We are carrying on with our study into fractions, and today we're just going to be considering that question that is on the screen there. What is a fraction? What do we mean when we say a fraction? Okay, so before we get going, some questions to get us warmed up to do with fractions. And there we are, we've got a set of cubes, 3 different colours, and I'd like to tell me what fractions of the cube are each colour, and then there's another couple of questions to have a go at there. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so what fraction of the cubes are each colour? So, hopefully remembering back to yesterday's lesson, when we've got two parts of the fraction, we have a numerator on the top and a denominator on the bottom. You'll know that I say denominator because it is low, helping you think that denominators are low down. So, with our yellow ones, and the red and the green, we're going to have the same denominator because we're saying out of how many altogether. So our whole is how many cubes? Well, that's 7. Okay, so our denominator always going to be 7. How many yellows have we got? Well, we've got 4 out of 7. With our reds, we've got 2 of the 7, and the green, we've got 1 of the 7. You can read those fractions as 4/7, 2/7, and 1/7. Which of the fractions above then is a unit fraction? Think back to what we did yesterday. A unit fraction is where the numerator is 1. So the unit fraction is the green one, 1/7. The fractions that are non-unit fractions is where the numerator is greater than 1, where 2 or more. Okay, so in this case, it would be the yellow, which is 4/7, and the red, which was 2/7. Okay, unit fractions, the denominator is 1. The numerator is 1. In non-unit fractions, numerator is greater than 1. Okay then, let's move on with our learning for today. So, look at that bar model there. What fraction is being represented? Well, first of all, we know we're talking about fractions because it's split up into equal parts. If it wasn't equal parts, we couldn't say we can do fractions. Okay, so how many equal parts are there altogether? Okay, let's have a think about that. See if you can fill in those blanks before we start. How many equal parts altogether? Well, we have 5 altogether. 1 out of 5 equal parts is shaded, and as a fraction, 1/5 of the shape is shaded. Now, is that a unit fraction or a non-unit fraction? Well, the numerator is 1, so that is a unit fraction. What about this arrangement then? Have a think about the sentences there and see if you can complete them before we have a go together. So, how many equal parts altogether? Well, we've got 4 there, so there's 4 equal parts. How many of the equal parts are shaded red? Well, 3 out of the 4 equal parts are shaded red. If we were to turn that into fraction, that would be 3/4, or what we call 3/4 of the shapes are shaded red. So 3/4, 3/4, is that a unit fraction or a non-unit fraction? Good. Numerator is greater than 1, is above 1, so it's a non-unit fraction. Now, I want you to have a look at these 8 different representations. Which of these shows a quarter? So go through all 8 and say if they show a quarter or not. Have a think. Maybe pause the video now and have a go before I go through them. So the first one there, does that have quarters? Does that show 1/4? Well, I've got 4 equal parts and one of them is represented. So yes, that is a quarter. On the second one, how many equal parts have I got? Well, I've got 5. So that can't be quarters, that's going to be fifths. On the third one, how many equal parts do I have? Well, I've got 5 equal parts altogether. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small squares there. Okay. So I can't have quarters because that's split into 5 equal parts. With the fourth one, how many parts have I got there? Well, you can see that I've got 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. But have I got quarters? No, because not all the parts are equal. The blue part is the largest part. If it was quarters, they'd all be the same size. So that's not. Now this next one is a bit of a puzzling one. Okay, how many parts have we got there? Well, we've got 2 parts, so does it show quarters? Well, no. Hang on. Timmy's come along and he's saying, well, how about we think about it in a different way? Oh, perhaps the others were hidden. Okay, do we need to show all these little lines breaking it up? No. That rectangle there could be representing a glass which is a quarter full. Well, you may not see the marks along the glass, but it can still be a quarter full. So there, we do have a quarter. On the sixth one, I've got 4 equal parts. One of them is shaded, so that is a quarter. On the seventh one, how many small triangles make up that whole triangle? Well, you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles, and one of them is shaded. So yes, that is a quarter. And finally, with the eighth one, I've got 4 parts. One of them is represented. However, one of them is larger than the others, so they're not equal parts. So that's not a quarter. Okay, hopefully you did all right with that one. I think the one which some people may get a little confused over is this one here. But just because it wasn't split into equal parts doesn't mean that it can't be represented that way. Okay, pause the video now and go and have a go at questions 1 to 4 on the worksheet and come back. Rightio. So, I'm going to show you a number line now, a very straightforward one, and we're just going to count up in 1. There's 1 dot, 2, 2 dots, 3, 3 dots, 4, 4 dots, 5, 5 dots. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on this part of the number line. Now, you can see there we've got 0, and we've got our dot there representing 1. Well, you know what? We're now going to think of some numbers along that number line. So they're going to be between 0 and 1. They're greater than 0 and less than 1. How many equal parts have I got there? You can see, although 3 lines have come up, I've got 4 parts now. I've got 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts altogether. Okay, there's my 4 sections. I've split 1 into 4 equal parts. So, in the first part, I've just got 1 of the quarters. If I go for 2, I've got 2 quarters. And the other one would be 3 quarters. All 4 of them would be 4 quarters, or what we call 1 whole. 4 quarters is the same as 1 whole. Now, have a think about this number line between 0 and 1. Think about how many equal parts it's been broken up into along that number line. And then think what fraction the arrow is pointing to. Have a think, maybe pause the video and have a go, and come back to the video once you've had a try. Well, you can see there that along that number line, we haven't got 4 parts now, we've got 5. Each one is showing a fifth. The one that was represented by an arrow, well, this would be the first one. The second one, well, this is the third one. So it's 3/5 of the way along that line. Have a think about this next one. Where would 6/7 be on this number line? Maybe there's a cheat method for this one. Well, 1/7 would be first, then we'd have 2/7, 3/7, 4/7, 5/7 and 6/7. 6/7 would be this last one here before 1. Now I said there may be a cheat. You may have noticed that 6/7 is 1 less than a whole, which would have been 7/7. That would have been obviously here. So we know it's the 1 before that. That would have been another way to do it. Right, Year 4. I'm really interested to see how we get on today. Okay, have a go at the rest of the worksheet, and I can't wait to see what we come up with. All right, great effort. Keep up the good work.